I'd like to call the Maricopa City Council regular meeting to order on Tuesday, October 21st, 2014. We're going to have an invocation by Chaplain Paul Ellis. He's pinch hitting for us today. I called 5 other people and all of them fell through at the last minute, so Paul is saving us, so we appreciate that. If he'll come up and lead us in an invocation, after which I'll lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. All rise.
Mr. Mayor, City Council, it's a pleasure to lead you in prayer tonight. Our Heavenly Father, we thank you for the privilege of being able to serve. And I thank you for this City Council and the leaders of the city, and I pray your blessing upon them and that you would grant them wisdom as they are making decisions on behalf of our citizens. Be with each one of us this evening and be with our city. And bless us tonight, we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. Thank you, Chaplain. Can we move to the roll call, please?
Councilmember Brown?
Here.
Councilmember Chapados? Here. Councilmember Frank? Here. Councilwoman Gussie? Here. Councilmember Kimball? Here. Vice Mayor Farrell? Here. Mayor Price?
Here.
Mr. Mayor, we have a quorum.
Great. Thank you very much. Thank you for being with us this evening. We're going to move on to, we don't have anything on number 3. That's our proclamations and acknowledgments and awards. That'll take us to number 4, which is the report from myself. And I just wanted to give a hearty thank you to all of you who were able to attend the State of the City address here this past week. Hopefully there was some information that you were able to garner from that will lead you to understand that we were really diligently working hard on your behalf and doing everything in our power that we can to move things forward here. But at the end of the day, it's a team effort. So we appreciate your participation and all your help and for all your service that you give. So again, thank you very much. I also wanted just to let you know that we also had the opportunity as a council to meet with our DC representative here this past week. Here in the earlier work session, we had a work session item talking about the 347 overpass. We were able to kind of find out some of the updates on the national side, the Tiger Grant applications, how we can continue to better those Tiger Grant applications, and all the things that we can do to move forward on making sure that we're truly as prepared as we possibly can be to be in the best position possible to move that 347 overpass forward. We also had some updates on the Lower Santa Cruz Wash and just kind of again getting some updates on what we can do from not only the local side but what we can do on the national side to make things better and speed things up. If you're like me, you wanted everything yesterday, and so I'm really trying to sprint through this as fast as we can, but without screwing anything up. So we're really working our hardest there. That pretty much concludes the report from the mayor at this time, and so that will move us along here to the report from the city manager. Excuse me, City Manager, I actually forgot something. Chief Leffler, I thought I had heard some commotion in the hall. Could you check that out for me, please? I'd appreciate it. Sorry, City Manager. Yeah, you send him out as cannon fodder first. Sorry about that.
Anybody know the score?
Check it on your thing. Well, while we're waiting, I did think of one other thing that Vanessa was so kind to remind me of, is that we also have some openings on our committees. And that is if you are interested and in the audience and interested in being on a committee for the city, we have a few openings for the Board of Adjustments. We have 3 openings specifically for Board of Adjustments. I believe those appointments are that of Councilmember Kimball, Councilmember Frank, and Councilmember Chapados. And so if you're interested in that, please submit an application to Vanessa Borres, the city clerk, at which point she will get those applications to these individual council members. The other side of it is also the IDA, as well as a few others. But, well, holy mackerel, look at that.
It's a fire.
They don't blow out. That must be for Councilmember Brown's birthday. Come on down there, blow those suckers out. Now, as clearly you can see, we didn't want to burn the place down, so we had to have the firemen here. I think Councilmember Brown is like 25 or so if you count the candles. Come on, let's sing happy birthday to him. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Marvin.
Happy birthday to you.
And with council's permission, we're going to take a 10-minute break, and I'll have some cupcakes out in the foyer here. Please congratulate Councilmember Brown.
That's awesome.
Council members, if you can find your seat.
Enough of Marvin already.
Thank you very much. We appreciate you participating in all that. And again, happy birthday, Councilmember Brown. So again, happy birthday. Thank you so much. I want to turn it over to the city manager, please.
Honorable Mayor and council members, only one item this evening. I want to publicly recognize our economic development specialist, Denise Earhart. She and her husband had a baby girl today. At 11:21 this morning, she delivered Emery. And so we want to express congratulations, how proud we are, and certainly blessings to her and her family. That's all I have, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir. Many congratulations to them. That takes us to the call of the public, at which point we have 2 speaker cards. We'll start there, and then everybody else is welcome to approach the podium as they see fit. You'll have approximately 3 minutes, guided by the timer there in front of you. And again, just for your knowledge, the council does not typically respond at this time. If you have a concern or a question, please let us know. We do want to hear about it, but also look for a member of the city staff afterwards, because they'll be around and can help get some of your questions answered, and we'll go from there. So the first one I have is Stacy Joe. I'm sorry, I don't know the last name here. Stacy Joe, I would like to renew my plan review on permits with the City of Maricopa. Please come up. Give us your full name. Right here.
Hi, my name is Stacy Joe. I run a little fry bread stand here in town. We've been keeping up with our license and our permits, and we're asking the city if we can be able to open up a second location by the pawn shop, by A1 Pawn Shop. We've been doing it hit or miss, and the outcome has always been great. And then they're asking us if we could come out more often, but I told them that we have to get approval through the city.
Okay.
And that's what I'm asking for.
Gotcha. Unfortunately, I can't give you that answer straight from here tonight, but I will put you in contact over here with, I guess I'll look at you, Paul, for now. That's Paul Jepson right there. He will be assigned to help you at the moment, and he'll kind of guide you through the steps and what you need to do. So,
All right,
thank you very much. I appreciate it. The next one is Heather Blakely. Heather, come on up.
Good evening. My name is Heather Blakely, and on behalf of Legacy Traditional School, we would like to invite you, Mr. Price, the City Council members, as well as all the staff members here at City Hall, to the Veterans Day free breakfast that the community is open to as well, on November 11th. It will begin at 8:30 in the morning. Then they have a special ceremony at 10 a.m. And we're also hoping that you would consider, we have flyers that we're putting around town, that you would consider putting one at City Hall as well.
Perfect.
And that is all.
Thank you very much. And again, so the time starts at what time?
It starts at 8:30.
8:30 and goes till roughly 11?
The ceremony itself is about 30 minutes, a little bit longer, but the ceremony starts at 10.
Okay.
And then it wraps up around there. But we're going to have Senator Steve Smith is going to be our guest speaker, as well as some of the community participants from the veterans, as well as children from the school.
Perfect.
So just a formal invite for everybody.
Thank you very much. We
You're
appreciate
more than
it.
welcome.
And if you'll leave us one of those flyers, we'll take care of it. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Let's see. Please. Rachel.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Just wanted to remind everyone again about the after-school program over at the high school. It's time for the juniors and seniors to come forth for college prep. And just wanted to remind the community, if you have any students who are preparing for college, or parents or adults who are preparing for college, please, please come out and find assistance with financial aid, the application process, and just anything that deals with college, making sure that you're not only able to gain access to college, but also see you all the way through the process. So thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I am Mackenzie Blewett, and I was just wanted to inform everyone around here that we have tomorrow night at 7 to 9:30 at the Copa Center, the 2040 Vision, and I invite you all to come. I went there yesterday, and we had a great time. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Rich.
Mayor, Council, my name is Rich Vidiello. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a little girl here in Maricopa. Her name is Emmy, and she is 3 years old. She has leukemia. The family is about $500,000 in debt. So on November 8th, we're putting together a softball. I don't want to call it a tournament. It's really just a fundraiser. Co-ed, men and women, we just want to get them out, play ball. Hopefully we have teams, $10 a head, $100 a team. So we just want to announce it. It'll be on Facebook. We're going to get it out there. So it's going to be at Copper Sky. Let's see, I think it's 10 o'clock to 5 o'clock. We don't have all the details yet. We're going to find out more tomorrow. But I just want to let everybody know about it. It's for a great cause. Every penny goes to her. And I just want to let everybody know. Just, you can contact me. It's on Facebook. So just, it's a great cause. And I just hope that everybody could spread it. If they don't want to play, they can donate. And it's just a great cause. And I hope everybody takes advantage of it. Thank you.
Thank you, Rich. Anybody else at this time wish to address the council? Henry?
Evening, Mayor, council members. Real quickly, I just wanted to bring up some attention to an event that's going to take place on October 23rd, Thursday. I know many of you have heard the news about the real estate agent in Arkansas, excuse me, that was killed while showing property to a potential buyer or a person who portrayed themselves as a buyer. It brought to mind an incident of another young lady that was in an organization I'm a part of, the National Association of Real Estate Brokers, where another real estate agent had been tricked into showing property and was subsequently killed, and they set the house on fire with her in there. And so we are offering self-defense classes. Actually, what is happening is Master Files from ATA is offering self-defense classes on Thursday the 23rd, starting at 2, from 2 to 4. And this is primarily for real estate professionals, but if there are others who would like to participate, you're more than welcome to come out and participate as well. And again, that's Thursday, October 23rd from 2 to 4. It's free. And then there are several real estate entities, title companies, lenders that are offering a happy hour afterwards as well. So wear comfortable clothing. I have some flyers for people for later, but it's going to be held at Master Fowler's school there at, on Honeycutt. Most of us know where that's located. So again, that's Thursday, 2 to 4, the 23rd. And hope to see you there. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else? Yes, Joy.
Mayor and Council, I'm sorry, I didn't even think I was going to come up here, so I'm kind of a little bit casual. Since everybody's announcing their events, we have GAIN coming up again, November 8th, and I am struggling, if you can believe this, to get people to throw parties. The problem with that is that if I don't have citizens, residents throwing parties, then I have no place to take the mayor and the city manager and the police chief and a lot of other people that like to party and eat. GAIN is getting Arizona involved in neighborhoods, and it's where people have, neighborhoods throughout the city have a block party on the same night during the same hours. And we have the fire department, police department, city officials, and different units of the city all go around and visit the different parties and really get to know the residents. This is our third year. It's been very successful in the past. We want it to grow. We have some sticklers this year that are just like, they don't want to, I don't know, not having fun. So anyway, I have nothing to do with all these people on November 8th if Maricopa doesn't get involved. So, yes, sir, what? And softball, yeah, we'll sign everybody up at softball. The email to get an application is either block.watch@maricopa-az.gov or maricopacrimeprevention@gmail.com. So I'm going to expect a flood of requests for applications, all right? Because Chief Stahl, he really wants to party, right? And Marvin loves to party. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, Joy. Appreciate it. All right. If there's nobody else, we'll go ahead and move on to the minutes. Thank you very much for your participation tonight. That takes us to items 7.1 and 7.2. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes, please? Have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Takes us to item 8, a public hearing. We do have a public hearing 8.1, that is PH 14-09. The Mayor and City Council shall hear public comment regarding Ordinance 14-12 of the Mayor and the City Council of the City of Maricopa, Arizona, adopting Chapter 16 City of Maricopa Zoning Code by reference as Articles 101 through 602, Chapter 16. So if you have a wish to speak to this item and this item only, you may do so. Seeing no one, I'll go ahead and close the public hearing at this time. And that takes us to the consent agenda. At this time, can I have a motion to approve consent, please?
So moved. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion on the items? All in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. And that takes us to the regular agenda items 10 through 10.9. At this time, we're going to start with item 10.1. The Mayor and City Council shall discuss and possibly take action on appointing one citizen to fill the vacancy on the Merit Board. This is for discussion and action. City Clerk?
Mayor, members of the council, we have had an opening on the Merit Board for approximately 1 year now, and we have one applicant. So the application is in your packet. It's Mr. David Carlson. Mr. Carlson
is here. Would you stand up, please? Thank you. Mr. Carlson rode his bike here tonight. We appreciate that. So, does anyone have any comments or concerns about Mr. Carlson's application to the Merit Board? If not, I would accept a motion to approve, please.
Move to approve, Mr. Mayor.
Is there a second? So we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion on the item? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much for your willingness to serve. Takes us to item 10.2. The Mayor and City Council to discuss possible take action on creating a 7-member youth internship program advisory committee and appointing the initial committee members. And sorry, I'm going through the reports here. And then, Christy, do you want to speak to this? Or you want me just to run through it?
Members, if I could place it in some context. If you recall, roughly in June of this year, you were presented with a proposal to establish a youth internship program for the city. And at that time, you were advised of our intention to do some outreach to several organizations, those including the CAC, the Chamber of Commerce, the CAVIT, as well, and a few other organizations. We've concluded that process, and what you have before you is a slate of recommended individuals to be appointed to the Youth Internship Program Committee.
And sorry, Christy, I didn't mean to put you on the spot. You were just listed in the staff report here as presenting, so I figured I'd listen to that, you know. No, at the end of the day, the folks that have been recommended here on the slate are Dr. Janice Pratt from Central Arizona College, Alma Farrell because she represents Cabot, Marla Lewis from the Maricopa Chamber of Commerce, Jamie Westmiller from Harrah's Casino, Victor Jimenez from University of Arizona, Wade Watts from the Maricopa Unified School District, and the chairperson of the Maricopa Youth Council, and this will be on a rotating yearly basis, so of course that will be selected. But obviously the idea is to create an ability for the youth of this city to have internship programs, and this is just the initial start process, but I think that with this committee in place, it'll allow us to go further and increase more businesses within the area, getting more of our youth involved, and I know that's a positive thing. So any further discussion on this item? If not, I'd accept a motion to approve, please. Vice Mayor Farrell.
Mayor, although I probably don't need to, I'm going to go ahead and take the high road anyway and recuse myself from this agenda item.
Okay, thank you.
Motion to approve.
A motion. So I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion on this item then? With one recusal, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Vice Mayor. That takes us to item 10.3. Item 10.3 is a discussion on the appointment of the 2040 Visioning Steering Committee. As it says in the agenda, the mayor is to announce the applicants, but one of the things that I wanted to make sure that we did is that we're having 14 people on the steering committee. I also wanted to make sure that in that 14 that two things were accomplished. A, I wanted to give each of the council members the opportunity to select two people so that it was fairly diversified. There are applications and applicants who put in. There are also the freedom to appoint those who did not submit applications. And the reason being is that this is intended to be a council decision in how they feel that staffing this committee should guide the process in forms of a recommendation. That being said, at the end of the day, whether you are selected for this position or not on the steering committee, there are multiple times in which you can participate in this visioning session. And so the steering committee is only one part and portion of that. The rest of this is completely up to your input. And so we would encourage you to participate in these multiple sessions, whether you can attend one or all of them. And that's a great start because we want to hear all of that input, that brainstorming that leads us to really a better place in the long run. And that's what we're trying to accomplish. So with that, I'm going to take, I think most council members have a list, and again, there are many people that applied. We appreciate your applications, but there are only 14 spots available at this time, and so I'm just going to start at this end and work their way down, and I'll be last. So Councilmember Kimball, would you please select your two folks?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to recommend for appointment Dr. Janice Pratt and Lee Filas.
Janice Pratt and Lee Filas. Thank you. We'll take that to Councilwoman Gussie.
My recommendations are Ms. Lucia Rodriguez and Linda Huggins.
Lucia Rodriguez and Linda Huggins. Thank you. Councilman Brown.
Mr. Mayor, I'm going to pass on my decisions at this point.
Go to Dan.
Okay. Dan, would you like to, we'll start at the other end and move back this way.
Yes, Mayor. I'd like to nominate Paul Ellis and Vincent Manfredi.
Vincent Manfredi. Okay. Councilmember Chapados.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I would like to appoint Ms. Nura Patani and also Mr. Dan Frank.
Dan Frank. Now, for clarification on that, I think it's important to note that, again, this is, sorry, do you have that? Important to note that Mr. Frank currently is a council member, but at which time that he is no longer on this council in a month or so, then you'll be a full-fledged member of the steering committee as we were trying to create that separation. So that's how that would work. I appreciate it. Vice Mayor Farrell.
Is that, so I know we'd had that discussion earlier, and I'd asked that question at the particular time about Councilwoman Gussie, Councilmember Frank, and myself. So did we have to fill out the application to get on this list in order to be on that steering committee?
The true answer to that is no. From the dais, we said last time that applications were recommended, as the council needed to know who it was. But in the email that you should have received from the city manager as well, it was clearly made that you have the ability to appoint anyone whom you saw fit to this committee. So of course the applications were preferable, but not the only way to go.
And Mayor, I have to apologize, but I've had some serious email issues with my personal and city email account. I do not recall ever receiving an email from City Manager Rose about this. I have not seen this list. I was unaware that we were going to appoint, and when I saw it on the agenda that it was the mayor appointments, I had a meeting. No, that was the other agenda item, not this one. But I was under the assumption that the 2040 vision was just something that you were going to appoint, and then us as council members, once we got off this seat, that we can continue to be a part of that steering committee. I apologize that I didn't receive those emails, but honestly, I'm not prepared this evening to give you 2 nominations.
Let's do this. Let's finish the nominations that folks that are prepared, and then if Councilman Brown, if you have a desire to.
Well, I agree with Vice Mayor. I also did not receive the list. I just received from colleague.
I apologize for that.
But I do see 2 names on here that I have no problem appointing.
Okay.
And I have the pleasure of appointing Ronald Batt and Ted Yoakum.
Ron Batt, Mr. Ted Yoakum. Okay. I will also appoint, and then if we'll come back to you at a later date and allow you to appoint your 2 as well.
Maybe the first meeting in November?
Yeah, I have no problem with that. Is that okay, with your side? That'd be fine.
Okay, thank you.
At this time, I would like to appoint, Mr. Kenneth Smart and Mr. Greg Campbell. So Kenneth Smart and Greg Campbell. So that takes us to 12 at this time, with 2 more from the Vice Mayor coming at a later date, and that's where we'll start from. So we appreciate all the applications, and like I said, if you weren't chosen for the steering committee, fear not. There are many, many, many ways in which to participate, and we look forward to that participation. Is there any further discussion on this at this time? Any other questions? And again, we apologize for the email issues there, Vice Mayor. We'll have to get those remedied. All right. I don't think we have any type of motion for this. It's just an appointment of the committee. Seeing as there's no motion, we'll move on to item 10.4. The Mayor and City Council is here an update on the Maricopa Aging in Place program.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and Vice Mayor and City Council. Since our last City Council meeting that I attended on September 16th, there are just some things that we like to update you on in terms of what has occurred and what the recommended next steps are. From a demographic analysis standpoint, you've been informed before that the city of Maricopa has about 6.4%, or around close to 3,000 that are age 65 or over. And in the area, the metropolitan statistical area, it's about 12.3%, or about 500,000 people or so, 514,000. By 2020, this data for the MSS of Maricopa and Pinal counties is expected to increase by 40%. So the disability status in terms of hearing and vision and self-care and cognitive skills represents about 32% of that. Transportation assistance is on the rise, and veterans are highly concentrated within a census block tract area. In addition to the demographic analysis that's been done, we've taken a look at talking with the City of Maricopa community survey that's coming up. And Ruben Garcia is working on that and has allowed me to add some questions. So we want to identify the priorities and willingness of individuals to be involved with the age-friendly initiative. And it may be more than transportation assistance, information referral, and recreation. From a partnership update, with the Maricopa Association of Governments and Experience Matters, MAG. We've been meeting with their age-friendly leadership team. Their network connections have occurred with the City of Phoenix, and they provided some good information on focus groups surveys for us. They've been very helpful with the demographic data and community engagement tools and plans of actions. And the City of Maricopa have experienced exposure and recognition with the Maricopa Association of Governments. With Experience Matters from a partnership standpoint, we've inputted our plan of action, and we attended, the city manager and I attended an Experience Matter Board of Directors meeting where they wanted to hear how this program was going. And during that time, once again, the City of Maricopa received exposure and recognition. City of Maricopa City Manager Rose and his staff have been very, very supportive. We appreciate that. Along the way, we've also received input from City Council, and Sarah is working to get me on each of your calendars so that we can obtain your input. But I did receive some input. It just so happened the day I was meeting with the city manager, City Council woman Chapados was in, and we talked. And she shared her experience with Maricopa Seniors Insight, provided names of 5 contacts. We talked about elder abuse, really as it relates to social isolation from a psychological and being physically, cut off standpoint. We talked about elder health care, difficult to go to the doctor because either they can't drive or don't drive, and so transportation comes out. And then just a couple of days ago with Vice Mayor Farrell, he was in, and I was able to meet with him, and he shared his experience over the 11 years. And we talked about active senior life, especially as it relates to an exercise program. And he would really like to see an initiative for the 60-plus winter visitors that come here, as well as the year-round residents, in some way that they would be able to mingle and come together. So here's our next steps. We have agreed upon a 12-month plan of action with the city manager and with MAG and with Experience Matters, where we would do surveys, focus groups, analyze data, ID, age-friendly models, a business plan, and really launch the model. But our immediate next step is an advisory council or committee of community representatives. And when you think about that, think about it more than just someone that's 60 plus or so. It really could be someone in their 80s, someone in their 60s, someone in their 30s that perhaps have children. Could be veterans, because we've learned that there are clusters of veterans within the city that live in a specific area. Below the poverty level, faith, nonprofits, racial and ethnic diversity. And so tonight, we're requesting an approval to start accepting applications for an advisory committee. And that is our recommendation. I also just want to say how grateful I am for the partnership with the City of Maricopa, City Manager Rose especially, and his staff, with MAG and with Experience Matters, and with the City Council members, and I'm sure with you, Mayor, as we talk more about this age-friendly Maricopa.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
All right.
Any questions, Council? Yes, Councilwoman Gussie.
You mentioned that you're going to take the veteran community. Have you had a chance to meet with the either American Legion post or the VFW post regarding?
Not as of yet. I've had some conversations with Charles Kent. Our church worships at the Maricopa Veterans Center, and he's given me a couple names of individuals to talk to, and we're looking forward to doing that. So, but that's on the list to do.
And I also had another question. Have you, how do you plan to engage the Spanish-speaking population? I'm thinking of a family who's been here the Rodriguez family, I don't know, maybe you could put in perspective how long they've been here, but they've been in this community for a very long time, and they're Spanish-speaking only. How do you plan to engage that portion of our elder community?
We'll have to address that and talk about it. So we need someone Spanish-speaking is what you're indicating. They only speak in Spanish? Is that you?
Well, either that or a liaison. There's a person I'm thinking of in the church that is our liaison that speaks both English and Spanish and engages the Spanish-speaking community and reports to the English-only speaking community. So how do you plan to address and engage them also in this process?
Yeah, well, we haven't, I hadn't considered that at this particular point in time. I'm glad you're bringing it up, and we'll have to identify someone that can help from that standpoint, that speaks both English and Spanish.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. I'll make a note of that, and I appreciate you mentioning that.
Yes, Councilwoman Chapados.
Thank you, Reverend Jackson. Do you have a projected number as to the number of advisors on this committee?
7.
7?
7 is the number that we would like to have.
Okay.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, I would move to approve formation of an advisory committee for the Aging in Place initiative.
I have a motion. Is there a second? Is there a second? So we have a motion and a second. You have a...
Just to clarify, I move to approve accepting applications for the formation of the advisory committee.
Okay. So we're motion to approve the accepting of applications for this committee. We have a motion, and is your second in support of that amended motion? Great. Any further discussion on the item? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much. Item 10.5 is the Mayor and Council shall discuss and possibly take action on a proposed revision to the City Manager's Office organizational and staffing complement that reclassifies the new assistant to the City Manager position to a higher pay grade in the approved 2014 salary plan. So this is for discussion and action. Kathleen.
All right. Mayor and Council, the City Manager asked me to review the job description of assistant to the City Manager and determine whether or not it was appropriately placed within the salary plan. And what I first learned was that this position was intended to supervise a classification that is actually at a higher pay grade than the assistant to the city manager was when I began my study. And based on that and the variety and degree of knowledge, skills, and abilities required, the consequences of error associated with this position, and the degree of influence it's intended to have in the organization, I recommended that this position be upgraded to the salary plan level that is recommended in the report. And I can answer any questions you may have.
Again, I know you just explained that, but part of the budgeting process, and just for clarification purposes to the audience, part of the budgeting process was that we reduced 2 members out of the city manager's office. We took the PIO, the public information officer, out, and we took the assistant to the city manager out. Or assistant city manager out as well. And in that process, we had at least a significant savings, but we've used some of that savings for other positions that we've needed to fill, as well as the fact that we did not receive in our first couple of go-arounds, we did not find the people that were satisfactory to the position for what the city manager was looking for in the ability to communicate with a PIO background, as well as the administrative duties that were going to be required. So again, just from our perspective, we are still recognizing a savings though this year, are we not?
Yes, we do expect to see savings in this fiscal year, even with this recommendation.
So again, based on the fact that this fiscal year, so they'll be theoretically around for approximately 6 months, there's a savings therein based on that?
Correct.
Okay. Any questions or additional concerns, Council? No? Is there a motion to approve this? Have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion on this item? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries. Thank you very much. This takes us to the ordinance, Ordinance 14-15, the Mayor and City Council of Maricopa, Arizona, amending Section 2-82 of the Maricopa City Code to add the Nonprofit Funding Evaluation Committee as a standing committee. This is for discussion and action. So this would essentially be adding an additional committee to the BCCs. Is there any questions or concerns on this? Yes.
Move to approve?
Have a motion to approve and a second. Is there any further discussion on this item? Seeing none, can we move to a roll call, please?
Vice Mayor Farrell? Councilmember Brown?
Yes.
Councilwoman Gussie? Yes. Councilmember Chapados?
Yes.
Councilmember Frank?
Yes.
Mayor Price?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Great, thank you very much. Item 10.7, the mayor and city council to discuss and possibly take action on rescheduling the November 4th, 2014 city council meetings to November 5th. So that's just moving it from obviously Tuesday to Wednesday, and canceling the November 18th, November 18th meeting. The city code says that we shall have at least one council meeting per month. And the purpose and rationale behind that is that we have the National League of Cities and Towns Conference during that week of November 18th, so we can't possibly cancel both, especially considering that November 4th is Election Day this year. So we just want to move it to November 5th. Is there agreement to that? And if so, can I have a motion, please? Have a motion and a second. Yes?
I get a quick question just for city manager. You know, we're trying to time this thing to where we got old council business moving into new council business. Now that we're canceling this meeting in November, that's the second meeting in November, so we're down to just one meeting in November, coming back the first meeting in December. Very first item on that first meeting in December is going to be swearing in the new council. 3 council members are going to be leaving the seat. Is there going to be any unfinished business left on the table due to this cancellation of this meeting in November?
Honorable Mayor, Vice Mayor. One of the requirements for canvassing the vote is that you have to do that within a 20-day period of the election occurring. And so it is very likely that you will end up having a special council meeting in order to accomplish that. Now, we'll look at some of the outstanding issues and try to place them on those agendas. There's also one other council meeting that we may end up having, which will be a special meeting prior to the changeover of the existing city council, and that will specifically be to address any old business that is outstanding.
Can't think of a better way to go out than a special council meeting. I've always loved these special council meetings.
So you could have 3 meetings in November. How exciting is that? That's right. All right. We have a motion on the floor. Is there any further discussion on the item? Seeing none, can I have a vote of approval? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. 10.8, Mayor and City Council to discuss possible take action on approving an addendum to the Master Communications Agreement between the City of Maricopa and Motorola, Inc. regarding the purchase of communications equipment for the City of Maricopa Police Department in an amount not to exceed $1.7 million. This purchase will be funded from the following: General Government CIP, Police Administration improvements other than buildings, General Government CIP, Police Administration, buildings, General Government CIP, Police Administration, machinery, and General Fund, Fire Support Services machinery, etc. So this is for discussion and action. Police Chief Stahl.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of council. Just a quick question, and I direct it to Dennis. 10.8 and 10.9 are related, so do we just talk about one each individually or together?
Chief, if you could, I think you're probably going to go over on both, so I mean, I think it's more efficient. They'll have to vote on each one individually, though.
Yes, sir. Thank you for your time. Back when we ran the budget process, you were gracious enough to, as a council, to earmark $1.5 million for a regional wireless site. What a regional wireless site does is it makes us capable in our 911 dispatch center to become a public safety answering point, a primary public safety answering point. We are currently already members of the Regional Wireless Cooperative, but now this makes us a standing member and makes us more capable to be that 911 operation. What this site also does is allows us to have with the tower and the site, allows us to fit our growth projected as we talk about 2040 and beyond. This tower will now reach to the Interstate 8 It will reach all the way west in Pinal County as far as we can go, and then east to the Florence area and in those areas where there are currently some, the bad term is dead spots, but we use dead spots in radio terminology. The reason 1.5 million was set aside and that we asked for was, that was what Motorola and the Regional Wireless Consortium told us it would cost. They came back after studying, walking the site, and came back with a bid of 2.26 million. My conversation with them was very short and terse. I told them I have 1.5 million. And so there's been a lot of whittling that has happened. I want to thank Lonnie Inskeep from the fire department and Jim Hughes from the police department. They've both done a fantastic job meeting with all the players, participants in this. And the best and final offers is as listed. The reason we were able to come down to this price, and it's a lot of terminology that has IT-related tentacles to it, but the reason is because when the Regional Wireless Consortium and Motorola build a site, they build it for a 50% growth to hook up with all the partners and for growth of the area. The way we've studied this with the partners is this is capable of 20% growth. We don't have to build the brick and mortar. They now have a site that is just a set and play site. However, the tower is a 180-foot tower versus a 120-foot tower. The reason for the 180-foot tower is because our connection is to South Mountain, and there just happens to be another mountain right in the way of South Mountain, which happens to be M Mountain. And if we put the tower at Copper Sky, there would be no connectivity or very little connectivity. The site that's been selected for this is where Fleet and Fire Admin Building is under your proposal to build. So it backs right up to the railroad tracks. It's in the industrial area where it doesn't affect the citizenry or anything like that. So Motorola agreed to come down to this price, and we do have this in the budget with the add-ons that we had already forecasted in our budget to add on with a microwave attached to it. And also the fire department wanted a VHF capability for in-building treatment for their VHF radios. So 10.9 addresses the VHF capability from their aspect. 10.8 addresses our part. So I will open it up to any questions.
Thank you very much. Council, questions? I guess I just had one rather simplistic question on my end, which is that you said that at Copper Sky it won't reach, but less than a mile further up it reaches, right? I mean, it's probably maybe a little bit more than a mile, but from Copper Sky in the center, we're back in the back where we have that site, that cell tower site, but to move it over to the Estrella Gen property, it just creates just enough a difference, or is it a line of sight thing?
Great question, Mayor and members of council. It is a combination of things. It's a line of sight, and also Copper Sky is in a much lower floodplain area where the Estrella Gen property is in a much higher area, so it gives us some extra height as well.
Gotcha. Okay. Any other questions on this item, considering? No? Can I have a motion to approve, please, then? Have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion on this item? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you very much.
That takes us to 10.9. Have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion on this issue? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you to everybody who's participated tonight. That concludes our fun evening of birthday parties and policy making all at the same time. We appreciate you being here, and we'll see you again in 2 weeks. Can I have a motion to move to E-session, please? Have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries.